Hello all of you, welcome back to my channel Learning is Fun Earning. Today we are going to discuss about how does a rocket works. In this video you will notice how all the three principles of Newton's law make the rocket to fly. The rocket works on the Newton's three laws of motion. Well, the first law describes how an object acts when no force is acting upon it. An object at rest will remain at rest unless an unbalanced force is acting upon it. An object in motion will continue with the constant speed and direction unless an unbalanced force is applied upon it. So, when the rocket is standing on a launching pad before it is launched, it will stand still unless and until an external force is applied to it. Not only that, but once it is set into motion, it won't stop or change its direction unless and until an external force is applied to it. Now comes this second law of motion that tells us that the heavier an object is, the more force is required to set it into motion. Just like that, if a rocket is small and weighs less, it requires less amount of fuel. In this picture, this rocket A is larger than the rocket B, so rocket A requires more amount of fuel than rocket B. Now comes the most crucial part, the third law of motion, whose principles apply more prominently on the working of rockets. The third law says that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. In this picture, you can see a man is pushing the rod towards left and the ship moves to the right. Just like that, in a rocket, burning fuel creates a push on the front of the rocket to launching it forward. This creates an equal and opposite force on the exhaust gas backward. You see, to launch the rocket upward at high speed, the fuels plays the most important role, which is also known as propellant in rocket science, and can be either in solid or liquid in nature, stored inside the fuel chamber of the rocket. The stored fuel is burned mixing with the oxygen gas. This is the oxidizer pump in which the oxygen flows, and this is fuel pump in which the fuel flows, and this is the combustion chamber where both get mixed and burned and creating a tremendous amount of momentum. This is called jet propulsion. But is the thrust produced is enough to launch the rocket? Well, sometimes the thrust produced is not enough and fails to lift the rocket, and to overcome this failure, certain stages are followed. At the first stage, solid propellant boosters are attached to the rocket. Now, the first stage of the rocket plays an important part and carries a considerable responsibility to lift the rocket along with its content. It can move the rocket up to 28,000 km per hour. After this, the solid propellant boosters get detached as they consume all the fuel. That's when the main engine starts its work and helps the rocket to move further into the orbit. This is how the rocket move into the orbit and also get detached after consuming its fuel. This detachment is followed on further stages which slowly helps the rocket to achieve greater acceleration. These separated parts either fall off into the ocean or is burnt up into the atmosphere, and after passing all the stages, the object which the rocket carries is finally sent it into the desired orbit. and that's how the rocket is sent so high up into the space in search of a brighter future. Did you know the first rocket was invented around 1100 AD in China? Also, you won't believe, but to be able to brush through the gravity of the earth, a rocket needs to travel at a speed of 11.3 km per second. Thank you for watching. If you want more videos about the space, please subscribe my channel.